They make the trek out to Burning Man for a week and a day. After a lot of work, oh, there's a lot of play. Party, 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 drama, 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 bitch, bitch, bitch. Year after year, they come back to scratch that itch. They all say their lives have been changed. After many years, lives have been rearranged. That change is what this show is all about. You'll see the impact of Burning Man up and out. So sit back, relax, and cancel all your plans. These are the stories about the shadow of the man.
Hello, and welcome to the Shadow of the Man Show. I am your host, Andy. Is this real? It's that Andy. Today, our guest is Athena Demos. Welcome.
Thank you. Thanks, Andy. It's great to be here with you.
Yeah. So, for people who don't know, so what's your quick bio? So, you were one of the long-standing, LA regional contacts, right? You're is it BRCVR? That which is
hmm
your project. So what is your role and position in that?
Short bio. I
Yeah.
don't have a short bio. When we talk about
Well, like
all the
elevator
things that
pitch, you know.
my elevator pitch. Okay, so I started going to Burning Man in 1999. So I'm
Uh-huh.
one of those that was post-century.
Yeah. We'll get into
Uh,
that. Yeah,
we'll get into that. But I started producing the LA Decompression Festival in 2002 with a bunch of my friends. We were just like, let's get the band together type of thing. That grew over the 15 years of my producing it from an 800 person event to an 8,000 person event.
Wow.
Um, and there's a whole bunch of statistics that go along with that I won't get into right now. And then in 2017, I was like, I'm gonna take a break. I've been doing this long enough. I became an official regional contact in 2009, so I did a lot before I got, the org's blessing.
Mm-hmm.
And then in 2009, I started a not-for-profit called the LA League of Arts that became an official 501c3 in 2011. Actually,
Mm-hmm.
November 11th, 2011. So 11, 11, 11.
Ah.
And
So
then in 2017,
when did you become a regional contact? When did you first
2009.
2009? Oh, okay.
Yeah, so 2002, I started producing DCOM and a whole bunch of events in the LA underground scene and a whole bunch of, I did a lot of stuff.
Okay.
Also in 2009, I produced the LA Burning Man Film Festival in partnership with the Egyptian Theater and American Cinematheque. So we had one Burning Man documentary every month for 6 months in their
Wow.
big theater. We took over the courtyard and did like a DCOM style with art and art cars and activities and theme camps
Uh-huh.
and right on Hollywood Boulevard. So
Okay.
that was super cool and a lot of fun. We even had Larry and Marion come in for
Oh,
a
wow.
Q&A. We showed, I think it was during Journey to the Flames. And then they came in and we did a big Q&A with the creators of Journey to the Flames, Doug Jacobson and Steve Binder. And
Mm-hmm.
Doug Jacobson now is my business partner with BRCVR, which is now Burner Sphere. And so in 2020, so in 2017, I was like, I'm done. I'm taking a break. I spent all of 2016 handing over each one of the duties that I did, whether it was board elections or producing DCOM and all the elements of that, or newbie orientations. It was like so many things that I did. So I spent the entire year succession planning of like, this is when I would do this, who wants to take it over? And then I would teach that person how to do that thing. And then they would document it. So there was institutional knowledge created in a notebook that could be handed on to the next person. And then I stepped down in 2017 and I was like, okay, I'm done. I don't need to go back. I feel very complete with all of this. And then 2020 happened. And
Mm-hmm.
2020 was of course, COVID. And
Mm-hmm.
Burning Man couldn't happen. And there was this little project that we started in 2015 with a local artist in LA. And he created this like virtual playa based off of 2014. It was single player, Google Cardboard, very rudimentary. The org kind of liked it. I'm glad that we had
Uh-huh.
the privilege to show it to Larry
Uh-huh.
before he passed away, which was lovely. And he liked it,
Uh-huh.
but it was missing community. And without community, it's just an archival tool. And what's the difference of a YouTube
Yeah.
video or photograph?
Yeah.
And so he's like, it's great, but what are you going to do with it?
Yeah. Show
And
me
there really
more.
wasn't much we could do with it.
Mm-hmm.
And then in 2020, because of COVID, Doug wanted to throw a birthday party. He was having a big birthday.
Uh-huh.
We're all 1970 babies, so you can
Mm-hmm.
do the math.
Oh yeah.
And so he contacted our friend Greg, who was like, well, I have this playa. You could use that for your party. And Doug was already playing on the AltSpace platform.
Uh-huh.
So Greg got the hard drive off of the shelf, blew the dust off of it, and hoping it would spin up. Back in the days when hard drives had moving parts,
Uh-huh.
children, we had hard drives with moving parts. Now we don't have hard drives with moving parts. So much better. But there was a time when we had these floppy disks. They were 5.5 inch. Remember?
And to
And
use the
now you
phone, there was
couldn't
a
fit.
rotary dial, and you had to
There
spin
was
it
a rotary
around.
dial on the phone. And you couldn't even fit one single JPEG on a 5.5 inch now.
Yeah.
The JPEGs that we have now, you couldn't even fit it on one. Anyway,
So 2020.
So 2020, it gets uploaded on April 3rd of 2020. So we just celebrated our 5-year anniversary of that
Oh
happening.
wow.
And I'm in Mexico, narrowly escaping Panama as the borders are shutting down. And that's a whole other story.
Mm-hmm.
And I get a phone call, and it's Greg and Doug, and they're like, "Oh my God, do you have a computer with you?" I'm like, "Yes." Like, can you open it and load this program? And I'm in like 6 megabytes per second. So it takes a half an hour to load the program. It takes 11 minutes for the program to open. And I need to like build an avatar and set up my account and whatever. And they're patient. They're just on the phone with me. And and I'm in Zipolite, Mexico. And I finally get everything set up, and I spawn into the space of the link that they sent me, and I'm standing with them on Playa. And
Wow.
the three of us are together. One's
Wow.
in Northridge, one's in downtown LA, and I'm in Mexico, and we're just talking to each other. And I hang up the phone, and we're there. And it's remarkable. And so then I immediately call Diver Dave,
Oh yeah,
who we had talked to originally when we were looking at the project in 2015. He was the one person that really understood the future potential of it. So I contacted him, and I was like, "Oh my God, Dave, and I'm hopping back. You won't believe it. You won't believe it. We have this, and it's social VR. Da, 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 da. I'm talking a mile a minute."
yeah. Uh-huh.
And he's like, "I'm jumping on a call in 10 minutes with Burning Man. Can I tell them what you did?" I was like, yeah. Tell them what I did. Tell them what I did. And I was like, "Can I be on that call? Can I be on that call?" And so he got on the call, and they had their meeting. And then I get a ping on my phone with the link.
Mm-hmm.
And so then I jump on the Zoom call, and I'm like, "Oh my God, I have to show you." And I share screen on my computer with AltSpace running, and I show them the virtual playa, and I tell them what we have. And we're like, we're ready.
Wow. Uh-huh.
We're ready. We can invite the community tomorrow. We're on a working platform, and the playa's there.
Wow.
And so they said that they were looking at other things. Burning Man hadn't canceled yet. They weren't even sure that they were going to cancel it, but they were looking at options.
Was this like early 2020, like what, March or something
This
ish?
was April.
April?
So April 3rd.
Uh-huh. April
I
3rd,
guess
yeah.
April 4th. It was
Okay.
April 4th, because April 3rd, they uploaded it. And then April 4th, I contacted Diver Dave. It was the very next day. And it was 10 minutes after that phone call to him that they were having their tech meeting, or their Burning Man meeting with tech people to
Mm-hmm.
find out what would happen if Burning Man needed to cancel. And then 1 week later, on April 10th
10th,
ish,
maybe? Yeah.
10th, Marion announced the cancellation of Burning Man.
Wow.
And she said my favorite quote of hers ever. And I don't remember if it was that time or the next time, but
Uh-huh.
one of the cancellations, she
Yeah.
said, you can cancel Black Rock City, but you can't cancel Burning Man.
Aha.
And I was like, yes,
That's right.
exactly. And it ignited the regional network like I had never seen before. All these
Wow.
little tiny pod events popped up everywhere. And we were one of 6 platforms. We weren't the only one.
Really?
We were the one that was VR centric. So in a VR headset
Oh.
is what we were. It worked on the computer
What were
as
the other
well.
ones?
There was Build a Burn, which was adorable.
Uh-huh.
That was on a platform that was like a graphic novel, worked on the computer. It was black and white, like a little drawing. You had this little character that you walked on a map. It was super cute. That was Build a Burn. Very easy interface. And I don't know where they are. Like, I don't know that that platform even exists anymore.
Oh.
Um,
Flashes in the pan.
Flashes in the pan.
Yeah.
There was Portal, which was people submitting YouTube videos and YouTube lives. So it was a big YouTube platform thing.
Uh-huh.
There was Sparkleverse, which was all Zoom. It
Okay.
was Zoom rooms and breakouts, and it was every possible way that you
Ah.
could use Zoom.
Uh-huh.
And so that was Sparkleverse. There was Dusty Multiverse, which was on your cell phone. That was a cell phone interface that worked on Android and iOS.
Huh.
I was on it once,
Uh-huh.
but I was spending so much time producing BRCVR that I really didn't get to spend too much time on all the other platforms.
Mm-hmm.
Dusty Multiverse I was on once, but I don't even like playing games on my cell phone.
Uh-huh.
So doing VR on my cell phone, I was like,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
even Zoom calls on my cell phone, I have to like flip through to look at all the people. So it's just
Yeah.
not the interface that I enjoy.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then there was Infinite Playa. I was so excited about Infinite Playa.
Hmm.
Now that platform it's called Infinite Reality. They got bought by some company who's now like they just purchased Napster and like a whole bunch of others. Like I don't know what their grand scheme is, but like what their business model is, but they're supposedly doing big things. They bought a physical studio space in Long Beach.
Hmm.
I was like, but I don't know what they're doing. But anyway, so that was Infinite Playa, and that was Unreal Engine and pixel streaming, and we just don't have the infrastructure for
Mm-hmm.
it yet. Or we definitely didn't in 2020, but it was
Wow.
really beautiful. But you needed a powerful PC. It didn't work
Yeah.
on Mac. You needed a powerful like gaming
Oh.
PC
Mm-hmm.
in order to participate.
Oh.
Um, and I think that's the 6. I think that's the 6.
Wow.
And then us. We were super popular. We didn't have to build anything from scratch.
Mm-hmm.
Just like the 3D assets.
Okay.
And I went and did what I do best, which was community building. I reached out to the different Burning Man departments, different artists, theme camps. I was like, come on, we're going to participate. This is how you do it. And we had tutorials. We ended up teaching a number of people how to use Blender and Unity.
Oh,
And
wow.
I know a handful of people that's now what they do professionally
Wow.
because of BRCVR and learning it for the burn. They then were able to make a living doing it,
Wow.
which
Wow.
is really
So
cool.
would it be the equivalent of like of its own kind of regional group now or something? Like,
Um, I would think so,
yeah.
but Burning Man has decided that no, it's not its own regional. They
Uh-huh.
have a digital regional. It's called Burn 2, and it is on
Yeah,
Second Life.
what's
Yeah, that's still
oh,
going. That's been
that's still
going on
going?
since 2015.
Really?
And yeah, and in 2020, what was interesting is they didn't do one of the virtual
Well, why not?
offerings, which I don't know. They have events that they do, like they have an October decon type of event, and then they have something that they do in the springtime. And they still do it regularly, and they still have users. It's a 2D interface on your computer, and it's on Second Life, and they've built this world that they still use, and they have
Hmm.
regular
Is it like an
people on their
ongoing,
platform.
just like world kind of thing, or they just use it for like like I said, like for events? It's like, oh, we're gonna do a decom or
They have
pre-com.
their own world, and then they use it for events. And I
Uh-huh.
think it's 2 events a year, but there might be others. I'm not incredibly involved in the community. I am on their
Mm-hmm.
email list, so I see it as the events come on. And
Mm-hmm.
I know the two big events because during COVID, we didn't just do the virtual burn. We started doing like weekly events, and then we did we did a gratitude event in November, and then we did like a decom event in October, and then we did
Mm-hmm.
reburn in January. And twice we ended up doing our event without even realizing it at the same time that they were doing theirs.
Ah.
And in LA, as a regional contact, I was always like talking to all the different groups to figure
Uh-huh.
out, like, so we didn't overlap, so we didn't bifurcate the community. And
Yeah,
we
must
kept
be hard.
fucking up with Burn 2 and bifurcating the community. We're like, no, it's the same time. But they forgave us, and we forgave them, and it was just it just, it happened. Um but yeah, so but that's still going on, and they're technically a regional. They're like
Uh-huh.
contracted, a regional organization. They're the only digital.
So
Burning Man.
well, no, how exactly does the BRCVR work then? Like, so if somebody wants to like join it, like, how would you go about it?
So I'm gonna finish what I was getting ready to say
Oh,
about
okay, sure,
Burning
sure.
Man.
Yeah, yeah.
So our relationship to Burning Man, because that
Yeah.
will lead into how people can join.
Okay.
So our relationship to Burning Man is that we're collaborating with them. So we're in collaboration. We have it took about 2 years for us to develop the agreement that's between the Burning Man project, and our subsidiary. So we have a company. I started a company called Big Rock Creative, BRC.
Mm-hmm.
We thought it was going to be funny and snarky. Then it became really confusing. That's BRCVR.
Uh-huh.
That's the Big Rock Creative, Black Rock
Ah.
City. It was Big
Uh-huh.
Rock Creative. We thought we were being
Uh-huh.
cute. We were going to do it for 1 year, and then it blew up. And now
Uh-huh.
Big Rock Creative actually has a lot of commercial clients like Microsoft, the United Nations,
Really?
T-Mobile, Google. Like we've worked for some really big names building
Wow.
immersive social VR for them, for their teams and for the public and for their brand. So we're kind of commercial now.
Uh-huh.
So we created a subsidiary called Duct Tape and Zip Ties that produces BRCVR, presents Burnersphere. And Burnersphere is a standalone app, so it is its own thing. We're not on somebody else's platform. We're not
Uh-huh.
asking you to sign up on somebody else's platform anymore. Altspace no longer exists. In March of 23, Microsoft
Yeah.
sunset Altspace permanently,
Yeah, I remember hearing about that.
and
Yeah.
which was very sad. We had memorial services. I delivered a eulogy for the platform. We had our final party at the end of January of 23, called Reburn. And that is something that we'll continue to do. And that was the first time that we took footage that we filmed at Burning Man. So we have a media agreement with Burning Man. We could go and we could film. Doug Jacobson has been filming at Burning Man since 1998 and has one of the largest and longest running documentary projects called Journey to the Flames.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was natural for us to go and film. And we wanted to film the projects that were part of the digital offering in 2020 and 2021, physically in 2022. So we did photogrammetry, we shot in 360 and 180, and we captured all of this stuff. We had 3 film crews running around all over the place. And then we did Reburn, which was a combination of the physical and the digital.
Mm-hmm.
And it was super successful. And we had to kind of hack Altspace to get it to work. And that made us realize that in order to tell the story that we wanted to tell, the story of the communities that make up Burning Man, which is a community of communities, we needed to do it with social VR.
Mm.
And we started looking for a platform. And we looked at 50, 60. I have a spreadsheet of all these platforms because we'd go to one and we check it out, and it does this and this and this and this, and but not this and this and this. So
Uh-huh.
I have this whole spreadsheet. And finally, we made the crazy decision to build our own.
Wow.
and it's insane. But I would say every large scale Burning Man project is insane.
Yeah.
Every temple is insane. Every man base is insane. Noggin the Captainess was insane. The peer group, they're just insane. Walter's insane. Mayan Warrior's insane. Long Fen is insane. I can just go on and on and on.
Yeah.
The bigger it gets, skydivers diving in insane. The fact that we have an airport is insane. The fact that Black Rock City, this is insane. It's all
Well, that kind
insane.
of brings
So
me to like an interesting point because like a lot of these like large projects like Core, right? Like that kind of started like I sent out like an email just being like, hey, what's this? How about this crazy idea? And then I remember like Burning Man just being like, that's insane. We couldn't possibly do it. It was like, oh yeah, well, how about I'll just like take it on and then you start the process and then all these people kind of congregate and then once I kind of demonstrated that like okay, like we have this big thing and it's going and the momentum is moving, then Burning Man is like, okay, now we'll come in and take it
yeah,
over. Like it almost seems like every large project kind of starts that way. It's just like you go like, I got this great idea about this virtual reality platform. Like, yeah, whatever. We're not going to do that. That's kind of crazy. How about you do that, and then we'll take it from you.
yeah, exactly. Well, but they're not taking it from
Or
us.
you,
Well,
yeah,
not yet.
whatever. Yeah.
Not yet.
Or we'll
Not
talk.
yet.
Yeah,
We'll talk. We'll talk about it. We'll talk about
yeah,
it. Yeah. There was a clause in the agreement,
yeah.
that allows for a change of hands. But yeah, so they're giving us room to explore all the possibilities
Mm-hmm.
of what this digital community could be. But at its core, I'm going back to the core project, which by the way was breathtaking and beautiful. And for those that are listening that don't know about the core project, it was every region was given the option of submitting a 20-foot tall max effigy that
Mm-hmm.
represent their region, that was built by their region, that would come to Burning Man and be a ring around the man, which was scary and crazy,
Yeah.
that we were going to burn all 12 simultaneously
That
and
was
not burn
incredible.
down the man,
Yeah.
which was in the
Well, just
center.
for the listeners, core was stood for a circle of regional effigies.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So I mean,
And then they did it the next year,
yeah.
and
So the
that
last, so
was
was it 2011? I think that was the first,
2012.
or it was
No,
2012,
2011 was the
the
first
first
one.
year.
2012
Yeah,
was the second one.
yeah. Because 2011 was actually my last year, and then I took off like 13 years, and I actually went back last year for like it was my first time, back. But it was funny because like by 2011, that was the first year it sold out, and 2024 is the first year it didn't sold out, and I just kind of I was like, I just sort of missed all those sold out years. I don't know what happened, whatever.
Yeah, whatever,
But
whatever.
no, but Core was incredible.
Core was incredible. It
Yeah.
was a great, and on the digital playa, we're gonna do
Oh,
something
really?
like Core. Yeah, I really want to bring that
You
back
know there.
because the digital playa has the ability to connect us. It's so accessible,
Yeah.
and it has the ability to connect us across all country lines. And
Yeah.
I want people to know that there's a burn happening in your backyard or close to your backyard that you
Hmm.
can get involved in. When we did the virtual burn in 2020, there was this whole group of people from Spain that were into VR, that loved like bouncing around together. And and it was like, I don't know, there was like 10, 15 people, and we ran into them all the time, and they loved exploring our worlds. And
Hmm.
we'd run into them all the time. And I remember we were going on a world crawl, and they were with us, and they were like, these are amazing. Like, how do we learn more about your community? And they told us that we were in Spain. And I was like, Spain? You guys have a great burner community in Spain. Like, you have nowhere, and you have this, and you
Yeah.
have that. And so I started sending them links. And then I realized that this is the tool. This is the tool. People come onto the platform and they learn about Burning Man, and they learn about the culture and the community, and they want to get more involved.
Uh-huh.
And so I want to invite. So once we launch, which is happening in June, then I want to invite the regionals to, what is your effigy? And then what is your regional story? Because we can put the effigy on the playa, and then people can then take the portal into the world and learn about nowhere. And maybe there's a world that looks just like
Ah,
nowhere and Africa Burn and Flipside and Element 11 and Otherworld. And I'm getting ready to go to Dragon Burn this year, which I'm super excited about.
is that the
And that's in
Japan one?
China.
Oh, China.
No, that's China.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Wow.
that's China. So I'm very excited. But people need to know, like even you were like, is that Japan? Is
Yeah.
that China? But you'll be able to come into the burner sphere and learn about what's
Wow.
happening globally and how you can get involved.
That's really necessary because I mean at this point I mean I don't know there's not very many ways for people to learn about that. I mean there's like the burner map thing you know like on the Burning Man website but like the information like the links it points to I mean a lot of it's like really out of date you know like
We're also visual. Like if you just
yeah
think about how much we doom scroll on social media, and we look at these quick little
yeah
videos, and that's how we get our information. It's not reading a website.
yeah oh yeah
It's not clicking on a
that's kind of like
Yahoo
1990s
newsletter.
like yeah like
Yeah. So we're like a three-dimensional immersive social VR information superhighway.
So okay, so so burner sphere, like how would people like what would be like how would people get on it or are you pointing people at that yet?
We are. We
Yeah.
are. So we're going to be opening up our alpha version
Uh-huh.
in like 2 weeks. And we're going to start inviting the first few people onto the platform, mainly to test our servers to make sure it can handle it. Because I know when we launch,
Uh-huh.
it's going to be like, like you have a faucet and then you have a fire hose. So we're
Yeah.
going to do faucet right now.
Uh-huh.
And the minute we launch, it's going to be fire hose.
But do you
People
have
that
like a
are
website or something where people can at least go to
burner
just like
sphere. Yeah, burnersphere.com. BURNERSPHERE.com.
oh yeah, I'll put that in the
Burnersphere.com.
show notes.
Yeah, please.
Yeah.
And you can sign up for our alpha. You can fill out the form. Right now, you're required to have a Quest 2, 3, or 3S headset. Yeah, we're building for VR first,
Mm-hmm.
but it will work on a desktop computer, Mac or PC.
Oh, awesome.
So when we launch in June, we will have, fingers crossed, our desktop computer version ready for you so that you can join us on a 2D screen. It's so much better and more immersive in
Mm-hmm.
VR, and I'm a big fan of VR, so I do recommend it, but not everyone can afford a VR headset. I will say, and I don't want to promote Meta,
Mm-hmm.
but they did just make the headset super affordable
Oh yeah.
at, well, it was $299 when it came out, but I heard because of the current tariff situation that they're going
Yeah.
to raise the price to $399.
Mm-hmm.
But $399 for a VR headset is, I don't remember the last time I spent less than $1,000 for my phone. And you
Oh
don't
yeah.
get game decks for less than $1,500. So $300 for a VR headset is very affordable. And
Mm-hmm.
then you get access to the content 24/7, 365 days a year.
Wow.
We are going to charge a membership.
Okay.
So you join and you pay your camp dues. Now, at Burning Man, when you pay camp dues, it's because your money's going to make the camp happen, whatever that offering is to the community and whatever the shared expenses are.
Mm-hmm.
So I did math backwards and I looked at how much it's going to cost in servers. We have to have, I think it's 3 or 4 different servers to run this
Mm-hmm.
platform for all the different content that's coming in. And we wanted to have a secure database. We wanted people to be able to take pictures and share pictures inside, and all of that takes up space.
Okay.
And then we have the developers and they're constantly squashing bugs, and so we have to have this team. So it's $48 a year is
That's not
what
bad.
our current numbers are based off of.
Yeah.
No, right?
Yeah.
It's not bad. Now, obviously, as we scale, we're going to have to probably raise prices a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But right now, the numbers, if we get 80,000 people, which is the population of Burning Man,
Hmm.
we will be able to not just survive, but thrive and keep adding more functionality to the
Hmm.
platform. We also want to start a digital arts fund like the honorarium, where
Ah.
artists can submit their models for the
Uh-huh.
art that they want to bring
Oh,
to the
wow.
playa, to your
Yeah.
regional, to a city near you, and or make art for the sake of digital art. Like
Yeah.
you're not restricted by physics, so you
Or
can
what
make whatever
about,
you want.
like where people have to do like a theme camp, like the questionnaire, and you have to submit like a map, or they want like, oh, you want to see what this looks like visually, or like your art card,
Yes.
whatever. It's like you can have like a dual use thing. It's like this could be useful for me in real life, but then now I have these files, and then now they'll be moved over to here. Like win-win.
So on a future roadmap, perfect segue,
Ah.
we do have on our roadmap, and it's already being built, but it won't
Uh-huh.
be at launch, but it'll be soon after. So maybe
Uh-huh.
for the Burn 26, we're going to have a toolkit and we're going to give you space. So you're going to get the ability to go into a blank playa world with your toolkit and all your campmates
Uh-huh.
and be like, we're going to take this car and we're just going to put it here. And then we're going to take this RV and we're going to put it over here. And we're going to
Uh-huh.
take this dome and put it here. But the dome is going to be bigger. So you just stretch it out and you make it bigger. And
Yeah.
you can lay out your entire camp by physically putting things, digitally, physically,
Mm-hmm.
putting things in the space and then walk around with your campmates and decide whether the flow actually works.
Uh-huh.
And no, we can't fit 6 RVs over here. So let's do 4 and 2. And you
Uh-huh.
could pick it up and just move it where you want.
Yeah, I like
Showers
that.
here, fuel station
Huh.
here. And we have generators, cabling, stripper pole, go-go boxes,
Solar.
hookah, solar panels, like
Evaporation
all.
ponds. Like, oh, that's nasty.
Yeah. No, we don't have evaporation ponds because you shouldn't be building one. No, they don't work. They become mud. There's,
Oh,
I
come
remember
on. You
the
gotta
first
have
year
that
we
too.
tried an evap pond. And we're like, evap pond. I'm like,
No,
that's to
you should
turn
put that
in,
in there. People would be like, what is this squared, like little swampy thing in the corner of your camp?
it's a kiddie pool.
But okay, one thing I just thought of is the numbers you put, it might be a little bit low. Like we said, like 80,000 people. Because I think the current numbers, I remember uh, 2 years ago or so, the estimate was somewhere around, like the number of people who've attended Burning Man Plus at all the regionals was somewhere around 800,000. And I think now it's probably closer to like a million. Or something.
Yeah,
I mean, you have to figure also like what percentage of those people are just like kind of like one and done kind of bucket list people. It's like, okay, maybe a good couple 100,000 people, but like still, I mean, we're talking about like long time burners or people gone for like many, many years, like by at least a half a million or more,
right.
you know?
I was just at, let me find, here we go. Hold on. I was just at MALC, which is the
Oh yeah.
Mid-Atlantic Leadership Conference, and it was in
Was,
Philadelphia.
yeah.
And Muse was there, and she gave a report. And these are public numbers, so I'm
Okay.
not sharing anything that I can't share.
Yeah.
And she said that 102,000 people attended regional events across the world
In the
in
last year.
in the last year.
Wow.
So more people attend regional events
Hmm.
than Black Rock City. There are 85 official regional events. There are 235 regional contacts in 105 regions across 34 countries. There was 1.77 million given in art grants, which we are hoping to add
Hmm.
to.
Wow.
Um, let's see, there are 5 locally organized leadership events. So like Melk and BAM, and there's a European one.
Yeah. Is it
I
burn
don't
after
remember what
reading? Is that another one?
Burn After Meeting
Or
is
burn after meeting?
BAM.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, the Burn After Meeting.
Yeah.
Burn After Reading is
That's a
bar. And now it's a whole other thing.
yeah. So when they say like what was that, 100 and something thousand, like
102,000.
so how do they define these? Are these including like just kind of like get-togethers, meet and greets, or are they talking about just like multi-day
Official
burns? Like
regional events. So these are official regional events.
So are they like
Um,
multi-day like events, or are they just kind of like
it includes DCOMs too, which are 1 day
Oh,
events,
okay. All right.
but official regional. So it includes DCOM. So like I once went to the Dutch DCOM
Uh-huh.
in Amsterdam,
Oh, wow.
and they
That'd
had
be
like
fun.
5,000 people.
Really?
Yeah. It
Wow.
was like this huge warehouse. It was like, I don't know how many layers it was. There was like a basement, and then there was the ground floor, and then, oh, there was like the sub basement, the ground floor, and then there was like 2 floors. But I don't know. I walked so many stairs at that event.
Uh,
I got to a point where it's like I couldn't dance and I couldn't walk another staircase.
yeah. Hope you wear appropriate shoes.
I was wearing flats with memory sole
Okay.
insoles in them, which, by the way, I once wore on Playa, and the memory foam turned into like this weird, like the Playa dust got into the memory foam, and then the sweat
Huh.
from my feet, and it turned into like this squishy. I don't advise memory foam insoles in your shoes on Playa. Everywhere
Mm.
else, they're great, but I had to throw those away.
Wow.
I don't know what happened. But
So,
anyway, so but it includes decom. So like when I did decom, we got up to 8,000 people, but then there's
wow.
also Bequinox, which is I think like 1,500 people.
Wow.
So it includes both.
So, let's get back to your Burning Man experience. So, what was the first?
Yeah.
You said 1999 was the first year you went to the playa. So,
Yes.
what got you to go to Burning Man? Like, what grabbed you? What hooked you?
I
How'd you get there?
I fought to go to Burning Man actually. The first year that I actually bought a ticket was 1997. And
Oh,
then I was working as an actress in LA and I booked something. I don't remember what it was. I just remember that it prevented me from going to Burning Man in 97. And so I think I just gave my ticket to somebody. And then in 98, I bought a ticket and again booked work and I couldn't go. And then in 1999, I just told my agent, I was like, nope,
block off this
no,
time. Yeah.
block off this time.
Yeah.
I'm going. But I was already going to rainbow gatherings. I was already part of Moon
Ah.
Tribe.
Uh-huh.
So I was already doing raves in the middle of the desert. And I was part of the art community in LA and already very active in that scene. And it was like these whispers, Burning Man, Burning Man. Oh, did you hear about Burning Man? Oh, have you heard about Burning Man? It was like this like underground kind of like what is this thing, but I wanted to go. So in 1999, hell or high water, there was nothing that was going to stop me from going, and I went to Burning Man. I have an epic first time at Burning Man story.
Oh yeah, tell us that.
So at Burning Man, my very first year, my very first 5 minutes on Playa. So I went there with a friend of mine in his brand new convertible, like BMW, and
Ooh,
loaded full of brand new bikes, brand new tent, like we bought everything.
wow.
And we get there and we find a place to park on the very last street, which was D. And I think 1999 was also like the first year of streets, like the first year
Was that
of
the
like an
time?
organized city.
Like I think was that the year the theme was time. So then the streets actually were like 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, like yeah, something like that.
I
'Cause
think
I think before,
99 was the first year of that.
yeah, I think because before that it was like I don't know, it was like compass points or something like that. It's like oh, we
No,
had so many
the compass points happened on Floating World,
floating
and
world.
that
Yeah,
was never going to happen again. Like
yeah,
people can understand a clock. Anybody from anywhere in
yeah.
the world can
I'm at
understand a clock.
322
Compass?
degrees. Like yeah,
Yeah, no, no,
no.
no,
So
no,
anyway,
no.
so you
Bad idea.
arrived in this brand new, so this
Brand new
convertible.
car with brand new things, and
Didn't
I
last
was
long.
like, I'm home. So I took off all my clothes and I had a hat and sandals, and we opened up the trunk. We started pulling everything out to get set up for camp. And down the street comes this Viking ship with all these people painted in gold with horns, and they were screaming something, but I couldn't really understand what they were screaming. I also had no context, but
Hmm.
it was something sounded something like raise them in, raise them in, raise them in. And I'm like, what is that?
What is this
And this
raisin
guy,
man?
what is this? And this
A
guy
man made of
reaches over
raisins.
the side as he goes by, slowly,
Uh-huh.
and says, come with us. And I reached up and I'm like, wow.
You
And
got
he reached
Shanghai.
down. I got shanghaied. He reached down and I'm actually going to Shanghai. So, um,
You
like in
Shanghai
2 weeks,
yourself, like yeah.
I am. He reached down, grabbed my wrist,
Uh-huh.
and pulled me up onto the ship. And like I weighed 5 pounds. I mean,
Wow.
I probably weighed like 100 pounds maybe back then. So he pulled me up onto the ship, and now I'm on the ship, and I turn and I look with a gold fingerprint on my wrist. I turn and I look and I see my friend and I just wave. I'm like,
I'll be back.
bye. And then the ship just started going in and out and around and through. And so I had no idea where my camp was because I never stopped for a moment to look and get my bearings. We just
Wow.
parked. We were setting up camp. It wasn't like I am at, D and 4. We just off we went.
I'm sure, but like, when
And
you
we
come
went
back like after dark, it'll look exactly like that. No one else will have camp nearby. Like,
after dark, try 3 days.
what?
Took me 3 days to find my camp.
What? All right. Well, we're getting ahead of ourselves.
So
So,
the ship goes out and it goes and collects a whole bunch of people. We get full and
uh,
we start heading out towards the center of the city. And the man is there, like face
lying down.
down
Yeah.
or back down, but he's lying down. And there's ropes off of him. And he's on like he's got like these 2 points. And now we're going to like Egyptian slave labor,
Like pull the
hand over
man up.
hand,
Yeah.
pull the ropes and pull him up. And it felt like a couple hours. I don't remember exactly how long it took, but it felt like a couple hours. I started on the ropes and then I got like the tap on the shoulder of, hey, little girl, you don't weigh enough to be on these ropes. We're going to put big burly dude on the ropes. And I was, I got all deflated of like, oh, I wanted to help. And that's how I learned how to be in service of the art
Uh-huh.
and how to be a fluffer. And I ran
Ah.
around and I blotted people's heads because you can't take your hands off the ropes. I gave people sunblock. I fed people grapes. I gave them water, all sorts of stuff, fed people watermelon. And then got the seeds back in my hands because they couldn't, it's like,
Spit in
can I
my
have the
hands,
seeds?
please. Like,
Don't move. But you learn how to really be in service because this was a grand communal effort to raise the man.
was it on the hay
Um,
bales?
and he was on hay bales.
Yeah,
It was
yeah,
the last year
yeah.
of the safety third of that man.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was on hay bales, and we raised him up,
What'd you
and
do
then
after
I
that?
looked around and was like, oh, I have no idea where my camp is, where my friend John is, where anything is. And just as I was like starting to get a little worried, this group of people came over and they're like, hey, if you guys are done, we're building our art over here and we could really use your help. I was like, okay, I got nothing else to do. So I go over and they gave me clothes. They were like nudity and power tools. Mm-mm. So I got, like they gave me a shirt and somebody gave me a pair of booty shorts and gloves. And I, started helping them. And I grew up around power tools, so it was no stranger to me. I helped them build their art. And then they were like breaking for a meal. So I went back to their camp and I ate with them. And then there was somebody across the road that was having a hard time setting up their tent. So I went over there and I helped them set up their tent. And then they gave me clothes. And then,
Like,
because I'm telling them the plight of not knowing where I am. And then they were like, wait, you need to carry water with you. Here's a
need a
little
place to
pouch to
sleep.
put on your back. And here's your water and some snacks and go. And so I'm off on my merry way. I spent 3 days bouncing around the playa, helping people, acquiring supplies, and living, finding places to sleep, finding
Yeah.
projects to get involved in, and then finally made it back and found John. And he was
Okay.
sitting there in a lawn chair with the whole camp set up in a pink dress.
Because I can't remember what the name of it was, but somebody made some movie. It was a whole like Playa Provides thing where it's just like, I'm going to show up at the gate completely nude and with no ticket and no nothing. And I mean, I think
They
it kind of,
copied me. I did it originally.
yeah, yeah. No, I think it kind of set a bad precedent because I think like for years after that, people were just like, I can just go to Burning Man and not prepare for anything. It's like, oh, great, thanks.
Well, see,
But
now I
you're
teach
the
easy
original.
orientations because I don't want anybody to have to do what I just did.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. That's
But I
incredible.
mainlined the Kool-Aid. I jumped right into communal effort,
Yeah.
and you know, it was an amazing first year, and I went back almost every year after that. This year will be my 22nd year.
Like in a row? Well, I mean, other than
No,
20,
not
21.
taking years off.
Yeah.
I started in 99 and this is 2025, and this
Uh-huh.
is only 22 years. So there's definitely a few years in there that I didn't go.
Mm. Yeah. You can get your
Like
25-year
three.
patch.
I have to go a few more years, but
Few more
yeah,
years.
I would love to get a 25-year patch. And when do they give you the watch?
Well, it's funny because because my first year was 96 and like yeah, I didn't go every year, but who was it? I think it was Absinthia made these like
Yeah,
25
she did.
year. Did you see this one? It was like a gold watch like
Hmm.
patch and so like I actually
The
got
patch
one
with
I
the gold.
got one of those. Yeah.
Yeah, she did make those.
Yeah. So where do you camp with that now at the Burning Man?
I've been in a lot of camps, but right now I call Black Rock Yearbook my home.
Uh-huh.
And we actually have a BRCVR camp that is a
Ah.
hub with Black Rock Yearbook. So Black Rock Yearbook is all photographies, and the BRCVR camp
Hmm.
is photography crews that go out and shoot photogrammetry and video and interviews for Burner Sphere. So it made sense for us
Ah.
all to be together. Plus, Doug is one of the organizers of Black Rock Yearbook. Yearbook
Yeah, what's your
people, we
book?
set up a
Yeah.
photo studio,
Uh.
and people come and uh, in their playa finest
Uh-huh.
or not. But we get a lot of people that dress up and they come with their friends and they get a photo taken, either groups or individuals. And you have to use your playa names. We don't use any real names. So if you don't have a playa name, we'll help you get one. And then after Burning Man is when our art really happens. And you end up getting, um, we put the whole book together. And so if you go to blackrockyearbook.com, you can see the yearbooks from the past, all going all the way back to 2007. We've been taking photographs of burners. And I think it's the longest running individual photography project,
Huh.
a
And
project of burner individuals.
where in the playa are they? Like usually.
That's like a placement question.
Yeah, well, I
Like,
mean, like if
where on
people
the
want to.
playa are you gonna put us this year?
Well, I mean,
Last
where
year
have
we were
they?
at 9 and B. We were like
Oh,
9:45
okay.
and B. One year they stuck us on the 5 o'clock Backstreet side. Our
Oh,
preference
okay.
is to be in Center Camp Circle. And
Yeah,
many years we
yeah.
were either in Center Camp Circle,
Uh-huh.
not in the plaza, but like in the
The
circle,
circle.
or Rods Road, which no longer exists.
Yeah.
One year we were like B and Rods Road, which is the most confusing corner because that's like where 530 and B and Rods Road all meet. And
Yeah.
so our address was like 530 and Rods Road.
Uh-huh.
So it was like hard for people to find us. That was in 2022. And then 23 we were Center Camp Plaza, Center Camp Circle, at like 2:45, something like
Okay.
that. And then last year we were way out at 9:45 and between A and B.
Uh-huh.
But our frontage was on B. And
Hmm.
then this year, I don't know. Hopefully, Center Camp Circle. We would love to be back there.
Yeah.
Um,
No, because
in
that's
23, we were next door to the passport office, so it was perfect because people would
ah.
like go get their passport and then come get their picture taken.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So it worked out really well. So
Yeah.
hopefully, we'll be next to passport again.
Yeah. No, I mean it just seems like that's the type of camp that you do it'd be good to have like more of like a public kind of like frontage kind of thing. You know, it's like a place where people can find you, not just buried like, oh yeah, we're 315 and J or something, you know.
Well, and you come and you hang out in our lounge. We have a bar so you can get a cocktail or you
Uh-huh.
can get electrolytes or you can add alcohol to your electrolytes. And then which defeats the purpose. And then right. It's like here, have some electrolytes, pour some vodka in it.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Um, and then get your picture taken, get your playa name. We have games you can play. You can just hang out in our lounge.
Mm-hmm.
This year, because the theme is tomorrow today,
Uh-huh.
and we're Burner Sphere and where we
Yeah.
are. The the yearbook photos are from 10 to 4 or somewhere ish in there. And then at 5 o'clock, we're going to do tech talks. We're going to do demonstrations. We're going to bring VR headsets with us and let people run around Burner Sphere, show them some other fun stuff that's going in. We're going to try to bring people in to talk about emerging technologies, talk
Hmm.
about AI, talk about how the principles actually fit into the metaverse, which is a talk that I often give. It's why I'm
Hmm.
actually going to China, is I'm going to be talking at a tech conference about the
Wow.
principles and how they fit into the metaverse.
Wow, incredible. Okay, well, let's see. I wanted to get into your background. So what was your life like before Burning Man? Like what was where'd
It
you
didn't
where'd you
exist.
where'd you grow up? I mean, like how did what was your lead up to all this? You said you're a 70s baby like me. I was born in
Yeah,
71. Like yeah,
I was born in 70.
experienced the 70s, the wonders of the
Yeah,
80s.
life before computers,
Yeah.
where you actually went outside and played in the street. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
straight from the
Fire
hose.
hose. Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Did
yeah,
you
we
grow up in
drank directly
LA?
from the hose. I grew up in Texas, actually. I grew up in Corpus Christi, Texas,
Oh.
with hurricanes and swimming in the Gulf of Mexico,
Mm-hmm.
um,
Not the
both of
Gulf of
which are
America.
exponentially. Oh, yeah, right.
Gulf of Mexico.
I
Anyway.
can't believe Google Maps like changed it like that.
Yeah. Well, anyway. We'll
Whatever.
have more fun
But
things to
yeah,
talk
so I
about.
grew up when I grew up there, it was the Gulf of Mexico
Uh-huh.
and beautiful sandy beaches, warm water all year long. And then in 96, I moved to Los Angeles to pursue a career in acting. And I did
Mm-hmm.
a lot of it. I did a lot of acting, commercials, television, film, a little bit of everything. I was on soaps. I was
Wow.
on TVC. Like, when you're an actress, it's sort of like whatever role you get, whatever flavor of the month you are. I still do acting. My agent still submits me. I still
Uh-huh.
do projects here and there. I still have a pharmaceutical ad that's still running that I shot in 21, I think.
Huh.
But they loved it so much and it's getting traction, so they keep doing
Wow.
it. Um, so yeah, and then so my background is acting, but I'm also really good at production.
Mm-hmm.
So lots of times when you do low budget films, you end up doing more than one thing. So it's like, hey, we're going to bring you on as an actress, and then you get
Mm-hmm.
on set and they don't have a line producer. So I can do line producing or a script supervisor
Mm-hmm.
or somebody to help out with costuming. And so you just sort of do a little of everything. And then I got really good at producing and then producing large scale events, doing decom. I didn't know what I was doing when we started. 3, 4 years in, I'm now consulting. I'm an advisor for different organizations that are doing events in LA and
Mm-hmm.
helping them pull their permits and becoming an authority in the matter.
Mm-hmm.
Burning Man gives you the permission to try something that you've never done before,
Yes.
right?
Oh yeah.
So you want to build a big piece of art, but you don't know how to weld? Go find welders. Now you have a
Mm-hmm.
big piece of art. In the process, you learn how to weld, and by the time you get done, you're an expert. So there's this, Burning Man gives you permission to try. I didn't know anything about virtual reality when we started BRCVR, and
Mm-hmm.
I learned it all. And I learned the technology. I learned how to organize, and I learned business, and I learned all of this stuff in the process of doing. And now I'm being sent to all these tech conferences to stand in front of an
Yeah.
audience of
You could share what you
technologists
learned. Yeah.
and talk to them about the future.
Yeah.
And so that all came from being granted the permission to just try something. It's why I love Burning Man so much,
Mm-hmm.
is that it's
Well,
a amateur's wonderland.
yeah. Well, this kind of leads us to the final question. What is the impact of Burning Man on your life? It's like your shadow. Like how what like
I
what is it because like something I always like ask people, it's like why do this all these years? I mean, there's some people it's a bucket list thing. They go just once and like, hey, I check it off the list. But like there's many of us, it's like there's some people it's more than half their lives. Some people it's their entire lives, and it's like you spend incredible amounts of money. You go through relationships. I mean, but yet we still keep coming back. But like why? what does it mean to you? How has it affected you? It's like, why is it worth it?
Why is it worth it? Well, to the core of my being, I'm a muse.
Uh-huh.
I am here to help facilitate the creative process. And Burning Man gave me an unlimited supply of artists that I could help inspire and facilitate their creative process. So
Mm,
even Burnersphere and BRCVR and LADCOM, they were all so that
I like
artists
that.
could
Yeah.
showcase their art. Burnersphere is a giant showcase. We're going to have all this art in Burnersphere, and people are going to get to learn about the artists. We're going to have little annotations so that people know what the art is, what the name of it is, who made it, where they're from, how they can get involved, why this art exists in the first place, the artist statement.
Hmm.
All of that is going to be there. When we did LADCOM, we always wanted people to learn as much as possible and connect with the theme camps and the art installation so that they could get more involved. And so it's constantly in service of the art. And that is what that is our goal. That is my goal,
Hmm.
is to help facilitate the creative process, foster community by helping facilitate the creative process. Because the more people I bring into a project, the more likely that project is going to succeed.
Oh yeah.
Burning Man helped me believe in myself and my ability to succeed so that then I can help others believe in themselves and help them succeed. And so that is why Burning Man runs in the veins and through every cell of my body. That's why I jumped in like I did. That very first moment that I was at Burning Man, when I got hoisted up onto a Viking ship and led out into the playa and told to raise the man, I have been raising the man every moment since.
Hmm. Wow, it's like it's funny because I have a very similar kind of thing where it's like if people ask you like, oh, what if you had to choose one of your favorite, which is of the 10 principles, it's like, or I don't know, I think gifting. Or it's like like you're talking about, it's just like being a muse or like giving back or helping other people. Even this podcast, this show I'm doing for people, it's like I'm not so interested in just it's like, oh, what can I extract? What can I drill down and like extract out of the Burning Man community? More of just like, what can I give back? It's like, well, what are you getting from that? It's just like, who cares?
Who cares?
Like, who cares?
I
It's
can
like,
tell you what I get back.
yeah.
I get back social capital.
Ah.
And social capital is more valuable than any fiat currency that you have in your pocket
Oh
or in
yeah.
your bank account. Social capital is always there for you when everything else is gone. As long as you have social capital, you'll actually be fine. Because my favorite principle is communal effort. And
Hmm.
communal effort actually pulls in and ties together the other nine because communal effort
Yeah.
invites participation. If you are going to build something larger than yourself, larger than you can do yourself, then you need to have communal effort. You need to invite participation and you
Hmm.
have to be radically inclusive,
Oh yeah.
right? You
Yeah.
you can't be like, well,
Not
I
you.
would invite you to weld on this project. I don't have any other welders, but I'm not going to because you're not exactly the type of person. No, you
That's
have to be
insane.
radically inclusive. That's
Yeah.
insane.
I need
I
the help, but
can't
yeah,
help.
no.
Exactly. No, come work on my piece.
Yeah.
And then you're radically inclusive. In being radically inclusive, you're allowing that other person to radically express themselves. And you're being radically expressive because your art piece is being made. Everyone is learning new skills, which makes you more radically self reliant.
Hmm.
All of it is a gift. All of it is in service of the project. It's about the journey. And you
Hmm.
have to decommodify that gift. You have to keep that gift pure. If you start
Yeah.
adding
Well, money
sponsorships
cheapens
and
it. Yeah.
yeah, money
Yeah.
cheapens it, which is really interesting because money has this value, and yet when you add it, it cheapens it. So if you're going to keep that gift pure, you need to decommodify it. Now, Larry always said decommodification doesn't mean you can't make money.
Yeah.
Decommodification means remove the commodification. And that
Between the
commodification
human
is the full
interactions.
value.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. The sponsorships. Like just because, some big brand gives you a lot of money, you don't put their logo on it. That's a
Yeah.
commodification.
Yeah.
The tennis shoes built by brand A and the tennis shoes built by brand B are made in the same factory, but this one is $300 and this one is $30.
Mm-hmm.
And the $300 one is because it has the brand logo on it.
Mm-hmm.
And the $30 one is just sold at the big box store.
Mm-hmm.
But yet they're the exact same shoe.
Exactly.
And this one, the $300 one, is commodified.
Yeah.
And so that's decommodification. But artists need to put food on the table. They need to sell their art. They need to make a living.
No, I think that's the frequent mistake like some people make is that they think like decommodification is somehow akin to like communism or something, which is like or just like, it's like anti-capitalism, it's like money just shouldn't be involved at all for anything. Everything should be free. And it's like, well, no. I mean, like I mean running events you have to have insurance and you have to have a bank account and you have to incorporate and it's like and you have to have money and like or like uh, BRCVR, or the burner sphere, it's like you're going to have some sort of subscription or membership or camp dues or whatever you're going to call it, because like there is money to host the servers and to pay the people to program it and to debug it. Like, but you're not like a hedge fund. You're like
Right.
your goal is not just like how much money can I extract from these people. It's just like, well, okay, what is the minimum necessary in order for this to do it? But like it is the lubrication that makes it work. It's like it can't just be free. But then, like you're saying, like between like human interactions, it's like I'll be your friend, but that's going to cost you $5. Like, it's like we decommodify our interactions, and we try to remove money as much as possible. But like money is necessary.
It is necessary. I
Yeah.
mean, until we get to a system where we can utilize our social capital in
Mm-hmm.
that way, then, we had a system
Mm-hmm.
way back in human history that worked on social capital,
Oh yeah.
but we don't have that now.
Yeah.
And we're tied into this fiat currency, and that paper is actually quite worthless. We just all believe that it has value,
Oh yeah.
therefore it does.
Yeah.
Crypto works the same way. We all believe that it has that value,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
therefore it does. But if you took all that away, all these incredibly wealthy people would be screwed
Oh
because
yeah.
they don't actually have friends they can count on.
Mm-hmm.
And when push comes to shove in a natural disaster or a war zone, you need friends you can count on.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. That's true.
So that's why communal effort's my favorite.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I'm actually kind of like writing this essay. I think that the title is like "Community is the true gift of Burning Man," and because I don't know, for many years, it's like that's what I've always kind of gotten out of it. And even just doing the show, it's like the most common thread I find between like everybody when asked them, it's like, "Oh, how Burning Man's you know impacted your life." It's always comes back to some sort of like community connection, and like yeah. Okay,
Well, I
well,
mean, I met my now ex-husband, but I met him at Burning Man,
uh-huh,
and we had an entire Burning Man relationship through a band that we were both part of, and then a circus troupe that we were both part of. We were part of
uh-huh,
Mutator and then Cirque Berserk. And then we, as a lot of relationships at Burning Man do,
uh-huh.
we had a fiery explosion and no longer we're together. We're back to being friends again. But
Oh,
it's Burning Man is like a life cycle where I
yeah.
grew up through Burning Man. I took my mom to Burning Man in 2014, and it was my 13th burn. I called it my bat mitzvah burn because I
Hmm.
took my mom. And like
Wow.
how
That's
how
funny.
do we grow through Burning Man? How do we
Yeah.
progress in our life cycle through this community? And
Yeah.
it
I gotta
all my friends are burners.
show you my t-shirt I'm wearing.
Yes. Graduated. Oh, I love that.
Well, because last year, I was like, I was like, okay, I'm an alumni regional contact from like Hawaii. I started the Hawaii regional years ago and then retired. And it was like, there's a number of us. And I was like, there's a lot of alumni out there. It's like, well, where's the alumni reunion? So, I did
Yeah.
this like little, like tiny little alumni reunion at summer camp. It was just like two people showed up other than me. But I made these T-shirts like, hey, give them out to people, whatever. But I mean,
I
it's
want a
funny.
graduated shirt, although I didn't
Yeah.
graduate. Actually, now
Well,
I'm like professor.
well, yeah, exactly. I mean, it's kind of like you got your degree and now you're teaching the graduate
Exactly. I
course.
definitely graduated.
But I mean, some
Definitely.
people look at it as kind of a negative thing. It's like, oh, you're just giving up on Burning Man. It's like, no, no, no. It's just like I went through the whole process. I learned all these things, and now it's like I can take these things and I can like teach other people. You know,
Yeah, I'm an
yeah.
emeritus.
Exactly, exactly.
Hmm.
So that leads me to one final question. Something when I was camped out this year, your name was brought up, and they were talking about BRCVR, and then people were, I don't know, having a debate, and they were talking about just what is a burner, right? And I remember one person was just it's like, oh, you can't be a burner if you only experience it in like in virtual reality, you're not really a burner. And I was like, well, you know these are human connections and interactions, but I just wanted to like, get your take on that. Like, and what's your response to the person to say just like you're not if you've never been to an actual regional event or if you've never been to like a physical like the Black Rock City, but you've only experienced Burning Man in VR, it's like, are you really a burner?
Oh, yes. That is an inclusion question.
Aha.
And and to say that makes the person who said it not a burner.
Mm-hmm.
Because you're not being radically inclusive. I believe that if you, so the principles were not written as a, you should do these things. The principles were merely written as a description of what we were already doing. It was
Exactly.
a response to people like myself, not that Dave in New York, George Papp in Austin. We
Mm-hmm.
were all doing events, we're all pulling permits, and we have to write on the permit who the burners are and why we should get a permit. And so Larry, to answer the question of who are we, wrote a description, 492 words, and he was not known for brevity. So this is like a brief description of what it means to burn and who are the burners. So if you're embodying all 10, and some regions have 11 and some regions have 12, but if you're embodying all of those, then you're a burner. And maybe you've never been to a regional event before. We've all met somebody that has never been to Burning Man,
Mm-hmm.
that you're like, oh yeah, you're totally a
Oh
burner. They
yeah,
just haven't
yeah.
gone yet,
Exactly.
right? So you don't have to go to the big burn. You don't have to go to a regional event. But if you embody these principles, if you're just like a good, humane being, and that you practice communal effort and that you're participatory, and that you're radically self-reliant and that you love gifting of yourself. Like if you do all those things, you're leaving no trace, that you stand firm to your civic responsibility,
Mm-hmm.
you're a burner.
Oh yeah.
And if you're actively doing, and all of the principles are states of doing, not being, but doing, they're actions. There's leaving no trace, not leave no trace.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're doing all of this stuff, then that's what it means to burn.
Yeah, that's beautiful. And perhaps Burner Sphere can, like we were saying, it's like, oh, perhaps somewhere around 1 million people who've actually been to some physical event, but how many other millions of people out there? Like we were saying, it's like you could be a burner already.
You might already be a member. There's an opening line that Rathba gives in our introductory video. And he says, welcome, you may already be a member, because you are. If you're here, if you're a burner, and if you're burner curious,
Hmm.
Burner Sphere is for you. It will not only, it's a documentary, so it will not only help you understand and learn about the various communities of Burning Man and Burning Man itself, but it will also connect you to them.
Hmm.
Because if you're burner curious, it means that you have a flame in your heart. And that flame, that passion has led you here because you're looking for that sense of belonging. You're looking for your community. And we're so diverse. We all follow around those same principles, but then we're completely diverse, from Thunderdome to Pink Cart to unicorns to Mayan warrior. Like, it is
Hmm.
everything that you could imagine. And if it doesn't exist, you now have permission to create it.
That's an opportunity for you. Yeah.
Yeah, that's an opportunity. So I actually, this past year, one of my campmates came back and he was so excited and tired, but excited. I was like, "Oh, what did you do all day?" He sat and played D&D all day with a bunch of burners. And I'm like,
Like people
"Well,
who
of
just
course
met?
there's a D&D camp.
Oh,
Of
yeah, of
course
course.
there is." And so, everything is possible, and everyone is welcome, and you might already be a member.
Wow. That's beautiful. Well, we've been going, let's see, about almost an hour and 10 minutes. Well, thank you so much, Athena. This has been awesome. Awesome. So, again, for the listeners, I'll put this in the show notes, but burnersphere.com. If you're curious, you
Mm-hmm.
can go there and like check it out. And what did you say? In June, you're going to have your launch, but in like May, you're going to have your alpha launch, right?
Yep.
So, yeah,
So
I mean,
in
I'm
May, we're
definitely
going to
going to
start
check it
inviting in
out.
our alphas. And then in June, we are going to open it up to the public,
Uh-huh.
hopefully.
Yeah.
And we want to coincide it with the Desert Arts preview. Fingers crossed we
Oh,
can
wow.
make that happen. But it might be shortly thereafter. But that's our goal, and it's a lofty one. And yeah, and if anybody is interested in getting involved in the Burnersphere project, maybe you're a technologist, work as in development, modelers. Who else can we use people for? Social media and marketing. If you're an investor and you want to get involved,
Hmm.
these are all avenues and ways in which you can be part of the communal effort that is Burnersphere.
And how can they reach you if they're
They can
interested?
reach us at the burnersphere.com website.
Okay,
You
so
can
there's
just click on
contact
contact.
information. Okay.
Yeah, there's a contact form and it goes directly to my inbox.
All right. Excellent. Well, thank you very much. This has been illuminating. This has been wonderful. And I'm going to check out burnersphere.com for sure.
Yeah, please do. Do you have a
All right.
headset?
Not yet, but
Okay,
I'll have to get one.
you'll have to get one.
All right. Well, thank you very much. Thank you for listening. If you enjoyed this show, please subscribe, rate, and review it on Apple Podcasts. It just helps to get this show seen. Please tell a friend and help to spread the word. If there's enough support, we can do a lot more of these shows and publish more shows per month. If you would like to contact us about being a guest, what you think about the show, or whatever, please send an email to shadowofthemanpodcast, that's all one word, at gmail.com. You can also follow Shadow of the Man on social media on Facebook, Instagram, X, and YouTube. The links for these pages are all available on the front page of shadowoftheman, all one word, .com. See you next month for a new episode of The Shadow of the Man.
Thank you for listening to this latest show. We have to make another one, so gotta go. Don't worry, for next month we already have one in the can. Very soon you'll be listening to a new Shadow of the Man.